So what is retention? Simply put, retention is the ability to possess something, hold on to something, keep something. In a workplace, retention is the ability for the employers to hold on to the employees, absorb them and keep them for a long period of time.
Before you go into any company, you have a career plan, your goals, what you want to achieve. Getting into an organization, you shouldn't dump that plan. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to HRTee. I'm thrilled to have you join us today on an insightful episode. Today, we'll be talking about retention strategy. I mean, any business looking to thrive in today's marketplace and want to stay competitive, retention is something that they'll be looking at both on the external customer side and on the internal customer side. So today, we're focusing on the internal customers, which are the employees. To help us unpack this topic today, we have a very special guest with us today, Gloria Agugwa. Gloria is a seasoned HR professional. She's grown through the ranks. She's done HR across different levels, from the HR generalist to business partnering to HR manager to head of HR. So you can imagine that she's done the operational aspect of it. She's also done the strategy aspect of it as well. So join me. Let's welcome Gloria. Gloria, you're welcome to HRTee. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, Tai.
All right. I think for us to start the unpacking, right? I'm just going to even start from helping our viewers to understand, what a retention or what retention is and why is retention important.
So what is retention? Simply put, retention is the ability to possess something, hold on to something, keep something. In a workplace, retention is the ability for the employers to hold on to the employees, absorb them and keep them for a long period of time.
Oh, wow. So yes, for the employers to absorb the employees and be able to keep them for a long period of time. So why is this important?
Basically, I would always say in my workplace that, our employees are our highest resource, right? They are our favorite and our best resources. So for you to have the good hands, you bring in talented people. For you to have them stay for a period of time, you need to have retention strategies and you need to be able to do things that will keep them happy because they're your greatest resource. Without them, there is no company. Without them, there is no work. So that is why retention strategy is very important.
Okay. I mean, without the employees, there's actually no business, like you said.
Absolutely.
So focusing on how to keep the employees is almost synonymous to focusing to keeping your business.
Exactly.
Thank you, Gloria, for that very important point. So I know that you've done HR at different levels. You've related with different cadre of people in managing HR. So when I say people, like maybe people you have to get approval from, starting from even just your own reporting line all the way to the board, right, where you have to make some submissions to seek approval. So can you share with us strategies that in your experience you have implemented that worked, or not necessarily what you have implemented, maybe experiences that have been shared with you as well, strategies that people have deployed for this retention and it has worked for them?
Okay, so honestly, there are a lot of strategies and you need to first understand where your organization is and then you implement based on that. But I'll just talk about a few. So a competitive compensation is important, right? If you want to retain the good hands, talented workers, you need to be competitive in the industry. Their pay, especially in Nigeria of today, things are so bad. I'm sure you understand that, T. And people need to earn a living. They need to be able to pay their rent. They need to be able to pay their kids' school fees. So competitive compensation is very important. A conducive work environment, you need to create the right work environment for these people. As good, like where I work, for example, the environment is quite conducive. When I say conducive, you bring in things, it doesn't just have to be a structure. Make it feel like home. because another thing that it does for the employer is that it even makes your people stay longer. When they are comfortable, there's 24 hours light, they have a Zen room where they can go and just think and just get creative or just lay their heads. They have a kitchenette where they can go and eat when they're hungry. They have a pool that if they choose to after work, they can just go into the pool and, cool off. They have comfortable desks. They have things, supplies for them, clean restrooms, little things like that actually retain people. Also, flexi work hours, right? That's a big, a big fish in the room, but that's something that a lot of organizations are doing, and that is something that people actually look forward to. Right now, we have a lot of Gen Zs in the workplace. Some people don't want to wake up early. Some people are night crawlers, so they are awake at night, but in the morning, they can't even seem to boot, right? So a flexi work hour would be a very good one. Also, communication, how you communicate with people in the workplace is another thing that, boosts their morale and makes them want to stay. If they know that everything is clean and clear, they know that every information, they can get it. And also just having a good culture, right? A culture where people can speak freely and be heard. That's another very important thing. A culture in an organization. What is culture? Is a way of life. So the way an organization's process and policies is very important for employees, right? If they have a culture where you can speak to your CEO freely without fear, you can actually tell your line manager, give ideas, innovative ideas, and your ideas are taken. You're not shut down when you speak. That is very important in retaining employees, because employees always see this, and believe it or not, they compare with their friends, cousins, sisters, siblings, whatever it is. They compare workplaces. If they hear that there are workplaces where you can speak and you'll be heard, you don't have to be a senior person. You don't have to be the CEO speaking. You don't have to be an executive director. Just as an officer, you can actually say, I have an idea, and your idea is heard and listened to. That's another retention strategy. So giving people the opportunity to speak, having a good work culture is very important.
Thank you, Gloria, for those very great insights that you have given. One of the things you mentioned about the strategy that one can use to ensure that they're able to retain their employees. You talked about communication, and I think that communication is one area that a lot of organizations are, struggling. I'll just give a few examples around communication. So sometimes, they don't want to put out too much information so that the employees don't see the true state of the business. Maybe the business is struggling, so they don't want to put out the full information so that the employees are not afraid, quote and unquote. And then they try to manage information. So when some of the employees, of course, will be aware of some of these issues, and then they just feel that the company is not being transparent with them. And then in other areas as well, maybe some kind of appointments happen in the organization and employees don't even know how they arrived at those sort of appointments. And they're doing that just to, save maybe the other employees' data that they're appointing and, things like that. But people just feel that, communication is not great in this organization. And, because there's no transparency, I'm not looking to stay here and I want to leave. So that's one thing that I think that organizations struggle with. What other things do you think what other mistakes? Because I think that's a mistake where they're thinking, let's not put out too much information so that these people don't have full information and they're afraid of their job security, right? So what other mistakes do these organizations make in the process of, maybe they're trying to actually retain, and then they take certain actions, but those actions then chase people away? What are those other
Okay,
mistakes?
so like you said, for me, right, I would always say you can't over communicate. You communicate, keep communicating. People might not get it the first time, but you need to keep communicating to people. So that's one thing that organizations must learn, they must start doing. A lot of organizations are actually doing it now. Communicate to people, let them know. They are the people that would go outside and preach your gospel, so to say. They are the people that will go outside and talk about the company. They are your first brand managers. So you need to be able to communicate so they can go out and communicate as well. Another thing I think that organizations do that they don't realize that makes them lose employees is the fact that they don't have the freedom of speech. So the organization is not communicating. And even when employees communicate, they are being shut down. That culture of, oh, how dare you speak? Or who are you to speak? Or you're not a decision maker. That also makes people, they start feeling less of themselves. They start losing confidence. They feel, okay, I shouldn't be talking here. It's only them. It's them against us. And you need to have employees that say we. When they talk about the company, they talk about, they are passionate about it. You need to build that passion in an employee that when they go outside and they even hear anything bad about the organization, they come back and say, oh, how can we change this? Right? Also, I believe that organizations need to get to the point where employees are empowered. So empowered knowledge-wise. So training and development is key. So you don't just hire people and then you want to use the expertise they come in with. You need to train them so they know more, expose them. One of the things that my organizations would do, it doesn't matter your cadre, you will be exposed to more things. In fact, the lower officer you are, the higher exposure you get. So you're exposed to different things. You're thrown into meetings that you know nothing about, but you come out there with a lot of information that you can help cascade, right? So that is another thing. Expose people, train people, send them abroad, send them to other environments that they are not used to. Let them go and learn. So come back and train the wider employees. So training and development is key. Employers need to train their employees more. Employers need to give their employees freedom of speech, and also creating the right work environment, making the work environment conducive. We have, like I said earlier, we have very young workforce these days. So you need to ask yourself, what do these people want? What makes them happy? It might not be the regular things that were making our parents happy when they worked. It might just be the little things, as small as having, one of the things I came up with was to say, okay, let us create a Zen room. And then people are like, why a Zen room? What is a Zen room? But a place where people just go and cool off. It's not work. You don't have a desk there. We have little basketball hoops where you can play basketball. We have like the little boxing things where you just go and, just box and just ease the stress. We have like board games that you can just go and play. We have a bean bag where you can just lay down and cool off even during work hours. Just take out time. Don't be unreasonable, but just take out time to cool off. And little things like that, especially the creative ones, you give them time to think. It gives them time to also bring out their creativity. Again, we have mothers in the workplace. So if you have a space, create a creche, create places where they can just, go and a nursing room where they can go and pump if they need to breastfeed, pump, store their breast milk, have a fridge there or something. Just these little things that when employees see it, they feel thought of, right? In one of our offices, we have a pool. I mean, employees don't even use it, but maybe just for the pictures, sometimes, because you have nice workspaces that when people see you put it out there, they're like, I want to work here. They don't even know the work culture. They don't even know, but they're just like, oh, I want to work here. So employers need to actually take into consideration nice work environment, conducive work environment for their employees.
Thank you so much, Gloria, for those very great insights. I think my next question is, so yeah, as a business, I would put in place strategies to retain people. And I would not just, developing those strategies, I would also implement. But now, how do I measure? How do I measure to see that my retention strategy is working?
First things first, check your turnover rate. So check your retention. You had employees hired in January. As at December 2024, how many of them do you still have there? And then you check the culture, then you also check, do a survey. You can do a retention survey. You can do a survey that just gives people the opportunity to talk about how they feel being there. But importantly is to check your turnover rate. What did you have in your books? What do you have now? And one of the important reasons of doing this is that it cuts cost for the organization. If you're able to retain good hands, because the cost you have in retaining people and the cost you spend in hiring more people, hiring is definitely much more, because you have to source CVs, you have to get your other employees to take out time to interview, which time is money, as we all know, right? So the time that they use in interviewing these people, and then you have a whole lot of people, because it's not just the first 3 people that you get your good hand. You might have to run through a number of people. The lost hours is the organization losing money. So you need to be able to ensure that the good hands that you have, you're able to retain them. And you check this by carrying out surveys. Are these employees happy? What are they even saying? Feel their pulse. What do they want? What am I doing right? And what can I even do better to retain them?
Excellent. I think that the angle of survey, you just can never get it wrong with survey.
Absolutely.
Like, just trying to, sometimes even listening to the employees to say, like you mentioned, why are they still here? What's keeping them? Listening to them would even help you know what you're doing good and what you should keep doing, right? And if there are other things that you're not doing, perhaps your survey also covers that to say, what other areas would you want us to look into, or what else would make you even stay longer and be happier staying. Such surveys will give you that data that, helps you to know things, again, like I said, things to change, things to improve on, things to continue working on, and all of that. So thank you for mentioning that. You did talk about the younger people that are in the workplaces now, like the Gen Zs. Again, it's so I'm sure that in some organizations we already have Generation Alpha, like already working in some organizations. So saying that some of the demands or the requests you get from Gen Zs, or how they want their workplace to be, might start changing when you start relating again with the Generation Alpha. So what are the trends that you think what are the trends that you see that you think employers should pay attention to stay ahead of the game in terms of the retention strategy?
Okay, so I already mentioned one, having flexi work, hybrid, some of these people. And to be honest, there should be a fine balance. Sometimes it might not be, some organizations don't want people working from home, but that's a trend that is in now. And if you're one of those organizations, maybe because of the business that you run, you should also look for ways to balance it, right? So is it okay for them to have flexi work if it's not even if it's not hybrid? Is it okay for them to come in at specific times and close at specific times? Just look at those things and look for a fine line to balance it. Also, give a listening ear to your employees, because some of them just want to rant. As a HR person, you shouldn't be too busy for the employees. You should take out time, have conversations with them, just call them to say, let's talk. T, let's talk about this. How was your day? Are you happy? How are you working with your line manager? Just give them that listening ear. Give them a sense of a belonging. Make them know that they are part of this organization. Then rewards and recognition is another thing that is very important. You can't go wrong with it. So I'll call it the 3 R's. Respect, reward, and recognition. Respect them. Respect your employees. It might be an officer. Respect them, speak to them in a way that you would also speak to a manager, then reward them when they do good work. Reward, again, does not always have to come with compensation. It might just be a little note saying, oh, well done for today. You did well in the strategy session. It might be an open recognition to say, okay, we're recognizing Taye today for the good work. We saw how she did with this. It might be a little gift on the table to just say, oh, thank you. But recognizing employees is one thing that makes them feel they would go above and beyond. And like I said, money is good. Everybody wants money, but it doesn't even have to be money. And if it's money, great. But if it's not money, just those little things, just the fact that they know that they are respected, just the fact that they know that they are going to be heard. So rewards, recognition, and respect is another thing that would make you keep your good people.
Thank you so much, Gloria, for that. I think that first R is even sometimes I find the first R to be um I find that a lot of people actually even appreciate the first R more than the other two R's, which is respect.
Respect.
You know, it's funny how just respecting someone who you think is junior to you will make that person even want to open up more to you, have conversations with
Agreed.
you, even want to do things for you. So I'll I'll just share an experience that I had in a place where I worked. So we had this MD who the respect he had for everybody, including the driver, it was just very huge. That the same way he relates with the board members, the directors, and everything, the same way he relates with everybody in the office, and he respects everybody. And of course, he also recognizes when people do well. You probably even mention it in a public meeting or something. But I think more than the recognition aspect, the respect that he shows. A lot of times when he gives the heads of department things to do, Gloria, I guarantee you, we never let him do any follow up to say, where's the work I gave you to do? Sometimes we would, like, if you have to stay awake all night just to get the job done, because you just feel that this person respects you. So this person respects you and he will recognize you if you do well, right? So you don't even want to disappoint him. You don't want him to feel like, okay, because he's so humble, he shows respect and all of that, so you're taking him for granted.
Yeah.
So for that reason, you're just your brain is so at alert that I don't want to disappoint him. I don't want him to feel that him being good is being taken for granted, and then he now changes and starts acting the other way. So I think that that first R for me, a lot of people don't regard it. They think, okay, the respect should just be it should be down up, and if you're above someone, you can't show the person respect. But yeah, it
should cut across.
It should cut across. Absolutely, I totally agree with you on that. It should cut across. Respect everyone, regardless of what level the person is at. So another example that in that respect area, I had a town hall meeting with a company that I was consulting for, and one of the issues that the staff raised was the fact that the MD will set a meeting for 8:00, and then he shows up at 12 in the office. No communication. No, nothing to even say that, oh guys, sorry, I'm running late, or sorry, I have to go for another meeting, I'll join you guys later. Nothing at all. So you fix meeting for 8 and we're all seated waiting for you and you don't show up. As little as you think that is, or maybe you feel that, okay, but you're in the office, not like you're going out for the meeting. So you can go on with your work. Whenever he comes in, you will have the meeting. Because people will just naturally look at it like that. The MD, whenever he comes in, you will have the meeting. But they were not finding it funny. And they just felt that they were not being respected. That why would you set a meeting? And then the day you now set a meeting for 8:00 and you're prompt and they come late, maybe like 10 minutes after 8, is a huge problem. So they were not even worried about when there's an escalation, when they come 10 minutes late. But the fact that you set a meeting for 8:00 and then you come at 12, no communication, which is actually lack of respect, if you ask me.
Yeah,
it's a very big deal for them. So I just wanted to share that other experience.
So my boss would always, he respects people a lot and he would emphasize. So just an example, it might be a directive that was given and he approved of it, and then something went wrong along the line, or it wasn't. He will come back and say, oh, I recognize my error here. I took this decision and it's not right, but we would reverse it and I apologize. So that way you see that even the person that you see that is your leader is able to acknowledge when he's wrong.
Accept their mistakes.
Yeah, so then you as the follower, it makes it easy for you to do the same.
Absolutely.
And for you to own up, and it's just respecting one's space and one's time as well. So yeah.
Absolutely. This has been an incredible conversation, Gloria, I must say. In as much as it sounds like just little things, but those little things are
the things that
they are the ones with the major impact.
Absolutely.
Right? Thank you so much, Gloria. Just in wrapping, in wrapping up this conversation, what would be like do you have like a closing statement for our viewers just on the topic of retention?
So I would say to our viewers, obviously organizations as well, HR people, and even just employees in an organization, that you ensure that you create a conducive work environment for everyone, for your team members, for your colleagues, and even for your bosses. So people look forward to coming back the next day. There's nothing as good as being able to retain people, because at the end of the day, institutionalization of that knowledge, when people keep going, when you have a high turnover, you have to bring new people. They need to learn the ropes again, and things are lost in between. So as much as possible, let's try and create a conducive work environment where people can be happy, where people can look forward to coming back the next day and create the magic that we're looking for. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gloria, for sharing your expertise with us. So one final question, and I'll let you go. Right.
Okay.
So again, HRTee is a platform where we discuss everything HR, and you also know that the world of HR is an evolving one. It's an evolving one. Like, things are changing. Like the flexi working you're talking about as a trend that people, organizations have to focus on right now. It was probably not a point of discussion some years back.
Yep.
Right. So in helping to create that insight, that's educating people, what topic or what areas would you recommend that we also address on the platform?
I would say work-life balance.
Okay.
Which is very important in a workplace. I would also say flexi work. It should be a topic. We talk about it. Let's see how it can be balanced, even if it's not a fine balance, but how it would work for different sectors. I would say mental health issues. A lot of people in a workplace are suffering from this, and it's something that people don't pay attention to. Employers don't pay attention to. You just expect the person resumes in the morning and boom, the person should. So mental health should be something that we talk about. And a conducive work environment, yeah.
Thank you. I think that's like 4 areas. You talked about mental health issues that people are not paying attention to, conducive work, flexi work. The 4th one, I think, did I miss that? That was the first one you actually mentioned. Work-life balance. Yeah, so work-life balance, flexi work, mental health issues, and
conducive work
environment. Thank you so much, Gloria. Thank
You're
you
welcome.
for your time. We feel very honored having you on the show today and giving us all the incredible insights that you have given us. We hope to have you on set soon again.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for tuning in today on this episode on retention strategies. If you have comments, contributions that you want to add to this episode, please drop your comments below. If you also have suggestions for us, please be sure to drop your comments below. We'd love to engage with you. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Thank you. And until next time, keep growing. Bye.